Hello everybody, this is Mrs. Buckridden here. This is part 2 of our lesson on what does it mean to be Jewish. So you would have actually looked at the video on part 1, all about Abraham. So when Abraham arrived in Israel, God made him a promise. He said, I will give you this land for your descendants. Descendants means all the children that he will have. I will make you a great nation and I will bless you. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. Lots of them then. What promise did God make to Abraham? Have a little think about that. What did Abraham have to believe God? Have a little think about that. Abraham and his wife had a son called Isaac. One day, God tested Abraham because he needed to know he could trust him. God called Abraham and said, take your only son, whom you love, and sacrifice him on a mountain. And we know that word sacrifice. Sacrifice is like an offering of something, when you give something up. Abraham set up the mountain with Isaac and made a fire ready for his sacrifice. Isaac asked his father, where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Because, of course, Isaac didn't know he was the offering. He thought it was a lamb. Abraham replied, God will provide the lamb, my son. Abraham laid his son on the altar, and we talked about what an altar is. We have one in church. It's like a big table where you put something on. He reached out his hand and took his knife to slay his son. Slay means to kill his son. He completely trusted God and knew that God would provide the sacrifice. Suddenly, an angel appeared and called, Abraham, Abraham, stop. I know that you trust God and would sacrifice even your son for him. Abraham looked up and saw a ram, which is like a sheep, caught in the thicket of a bush. God had provided the sacrifice. God reaffirmed his promise to Abraham and said, I will give you as many descendants as there are stars in the sky and grains of sand along the seashore. Did this promise come true? I think it did. So your task 3 is to answer these questions 1 to 5. So I want you to lay out your work, again with the long dates and with the learning objective to understand what a promise and a covenant is and how it relates to Abraham, and answer these questions. What did God ask Abraham to do in the beginning? How did God know that Abraham trusted him? What did God ask Abraham to do with his son? Where else in the Bible do we hear the word sacrifice? What promises have you made? What sacrifices have you made? So I want you to pause the video and answer task 3. And I want you to think about this. Reflection means having a think about what you've done. Thinking about the Jewish Faith Day, do you think God's promise to Abraham came true, and why? Have a little think about it. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing your work.